Hey, yo, people of Twitch, fine folks of the internet. I hope you've been having a lovely day. If you're over here in Ontario, you probably got a little bit of a torrential downpour that came through pretty heavy. But, rain, sleet, or snow, we got esports on the go. And I'm going to be joined with my co-caster, who would probably be better at introing him than I would be. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Sorry for the delay here, chat. Just sorting a couple of things out last minute, but we have got quite the matchup for you here today. We've got the Carleton Ravens, the big bad team. This squad has won their season opener 2-0 over Western. They are really popping off in a big way so far. The Carleton Ravens just really been a talking point of how competitive this team is. On the other side, though, the Waterloo Warriors, a bit more of a mystery to the average viewer.
That's right, a little bit of like a wild card that's coming in here. And once I got like picked up, all I've been hearing about is Carleton Ravens. They're stacked and they're ready to fight. And as we know, like these are two very like they're strong associations. It's not like there's some newcomer to the thing. These are two people that two groups that have met against one another. But again, new season can bring a lot of new factors to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the first match of the season for the Waterloo Warriors. So they're a bit of an unknown entity. I hope the Waterloo Warriors coaching staff has been in the demo room, has been showing the players some of the tendencies, some of the patterns of these Carlton players, because it's definitely available to them here.
Yep,
We
we're heading go to picks right now. And since we know that there's a lot of tight sort of gaps between the three different the A, B, and C, there's a lot of capacity to sort of lock down, and it's a requirement also to actually make sure that you have proper defense kind of going on there. So that's going to be what we're seeing from the. I believe the Ravens are on defense.
Waterloo will be
Warriors on
defense
defense.
here. Yeah, so Waterloo will be on defense to start, and I think what both teams are really going to have to focus on here is about having a agent that can really lock down that B site solo, right? We see so often that the Sova is a huge pickup for this map. Astra is something that also comes out pretty frequently on Ascent, just because the choke points on that B site are so tight that you need someone that can really scout out those areas, slow down that time, and make sure that there isn't just a complete overrun from the attackers, because if one or two rounds slip away like that, things can get really out of control, as we are now getting into game here, our first buy phase. Can't wait to see how this one shakes out.
Yeah, and we're seeing a complete mirror in terms of agents on either side. So definitely staking as standard as possible. Looks like we're having a heavy B side defense. Meanwhile, over on attack, it's 3 over towards A. Um,
Almost wonder if there is good. Yeah, there it is. The B aggression coming out really early, trying to get that early information. But on the other side, it is a fast push into the A site. That Jet has already dashed through the bomb. The spike, excuse me, is being planted. And now immediately a 5 versus 5 post plant out of nowhere. The defender scrambling to rotate over after picking up that ultimate point, and already Rubsky picking up an early one onto Chinese Shrug. That opener is so important for the attackers, just giving them this numbers game, but Vex immediately returns fire. They're stuck in heaven. They're stuck at the corners of the site behind doors, but the headshots are coming through all around. Light now dropping moves, hanging in there. They have got these post plant pieces like Danny scouting out the spike with these arrows. Vex looking for a diffuse, sticking. Part one done. Doesn't hold it. Two defenders is
watch
too
it, and there's the
scary.
push.
Yeah, and there it is. Just an effortless headshot.
Yeah, and like you kind of saw the entire flip of things moving forward with it. How it was like essentially like a rotation throughout the whole map, and it was very critical that you had the like that single flank took out got the first frag, and then was able to sort of put an entire pressure on I believe it was B afterwards. So
Yeah, and I like the Out of the defenders there to like scout for some info, make an early aggressive play out of the B site. Just doesn't work out in the end, as now we see a really aggressive take, immediately moves, picking up a double on the A site, immediately flying into heaven. This is surely going to be a spike down and a round win.
Ooh. Yeah, but actually avoiding the two defenders coming through. Now long sight line, nothing to it, but you're seeing that the defenders getting sort of flanked out right now, and getting pushed on.
And Jack Lord picks up one on Light, Riv one onto Prim. These eco kills are so effortless with the SMGs. The one-tap headshots makes it so easy. Chinese Shrug, maybe going to look for something cheeky with the shorty, but Danny, make sure it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that turret's not going to give you much other than sort of vision. I think I've described it as just an aggro security camera. So when you're stuck inside of that position, cornered in like that, there's not much coming to you on that.
1 second, peeps.
But yeah, it was, again, just like a very, like, sort of aggressive push coming out of, I believe it was the Warriors, and, no, it's coming out of Carleton. And here we're going into the third, seeing a few sprays coming down, and let's look and see. More spread out this time from the defenders right here, from the Warriors. Carleton kind of stacking towards B this time after doing 2 A pushes, trying to change things up and slowing the pace this time.
Yeah, creeping in and moves. Oh, actually, it was Riv that ends up getting the frag, but Moves has been such a good opener here. Chinese Shrug now getting naded over and over. Light looking for the rotation in as there's trade kills all across the B site. It is chaotic, but it looks like the attackers have secured the site. Now looking for a spike plant as these arrows come in, but surely not going to disrupt the plant.
Yeah, since you have 2 of the characters that are able to get the most sort of vision and information, you think you actually have a chance towards it, and they're making the best of it, down to only 1. But again, this guy on the other side, oh, just misses the top of the head and gets taken out.
Yeah, Moves here really heating up in this game. I'm fairly sure off of that round is actually going to have the ultimate here. No, 6 out of 7, so close to that ultimate. Would have been a game changer on this round, although admittedly the economy of the defenders Waterloo here is in shambles. They can maybe afford some pistol upgrades, some basic armor, but really they're going to be looking to save for that next rifle round. On the other side though, the Carleton Ravens are stacked and strapped for cash. They are rich. They are making it rain here, and they will look to stack up towards the A site in this next round.
There you go. The dollars are flying, and so are the bullets soon enough. We're seeing, again, the sort of slow push coming in. I believe the 6 on the slight single push to the B spot got spotted by Sky over on the Warriors, and they're just trying to feel each other out.
Yeah, just lurking a little bit, you know, often in these sort of eco or half-buy situations, you'll get some really cheesy stuff out of the defenders, you know, a 5-man push, maybe a bunch of utility into a spot trying to get a pick. So I think Carleton looking to just lurk it out here, see if they can make anything happen, get a freebie or 2, but now they're looking to aggress into B.
Right with that. Oop. Again, getting some solid frags. The push is coming through. And coming in. And have a solid claim of B side right now. Everyone there.
Yeah, and these utility pieces making it so hard to get in. You're just going to get shredded by these rifles when you have nothing but pistols. A cheeky little boost comes out, trying to get something, anything here. Riv trying to get the timing in the middle, picks up 1 freebie. Now, again, Moves with the crossfire coming from all angles. This is just a dismantling here. A really fast start out of the side of the Ravens. A flawless here to get their 4th round. They are heating up and feeling comfortable, but there is a buy now. The defenders have some options. They have some rifles. They have an operator. They have ultimates. This is where you start your comeback.
Yeah, and it's going to be very important to see how that comeback comes through, because Carleton's making good on all of the hype that's kind of set up right here. So you know that they're coming to play. They're not taking the Warriors lightly inside of any of this, and their plans are going through to fruition, as it were, and we're going in again. We're seeing set up on A, and we're seeing the Warriors being a lot more kind of spread out. We're seeing a 3-2 split on that sort of defense. And the Carleton Ravens have decided to stack 4 towards A, but not looking to push yet.
Just playing it low and slow, seeing if some of that early Astra utility will come through. You know, just trying to burn through the resources of the defenders before they fully execute into that site, get a little bit of information. They have heard the operator shot of the defenders, so there is the knowledge that that sniper is in play. They don't want to die to that cheeky little one-shot kill, but now stacking up towards A, this looks like it's going to be the execute. Will they pop this Jet ultimate, try to get super aggressive as the utility comes out? Here it is.
Coming through. Sending all the jellies in. That's going to be that's going to be a lot of distraction for the Warriors right now, and they're actually having to back up. That opens up A for the Ravens, and seeing more movement coming in. And there we go. There's the first death over on the side of the Warriors, and they're trying to push through, but there's only 3, and they've got their sight lines covered from the Ravens.
Absolutely. Now these ultimates being traded, but the kills are just too clean out of the side of the Ravens. Look at this, moves heating up, a triple in the round. Rubsky finishes it off. All headshots out of the attackers. You love to see it. They are on fire right now. They've got to be maxed out on cash at this point, or very close to it, as they continue to run away with this game 5-0. What kind of response are we going to get out of Waterloo?
Well, I mean, like, when you have such an economic lead like that, where in between rounds they're just checking up on their phone about investment banking opportunities, it gets kind of difficult. And you're seeing Carleton just starving them out, just being like, hey, we have the lead, we're going to kind of play it out, we're going to move forward. And again, they're even falling even further back on the offense, being like trying to almost like bait them, being like, hey, you're under pressure, this everything is slipping away, you got to come to me, and setting up what looks like a lot of like 1v1 scenarios right here, because hey, when you got the hardware to do it, might as well.
Absolutely. You know, these rifles are going to be, the pistols are no match for the rifles in this situation, but if you do get a cheeky little headshot with something like this Sheriff, you can start to swing around very quickly. Now Moob's lurking through middle here, trying to get any sort of information, but he's met with nothing. Just quietly walking through means that the B split is likely to come in. The stacks are in, the doors are being spanned, the defense is panicking, but they're opening with kills, a headshot out of that Marshall, and now the offense strikes back. The ultimate here burned, but not really looking to do much, just making sure that they have got this spike plant down without a hitch.
One enemy remaining.
The 2v2, and hey, even though it was actually looking like one of the like there was an opportunity to actually turn that around from the Warriors, but a little bit of knife play right there, kind of closed it out right to finish it off. So good stuff. Carleton not slipping. They have their plan, and I feel like they're altering the tempo enough that the Warriors are having to be on the back foot constantly. So that was a strong showing from Carleton, just in general, showing the economic lead early on with the aggression, relying on the early kills, and we're into timeout right now, which should mean that you've gotten a good amount of information as to what Carleton's doing. It's just what they're doing seems solid. They're coming in, they're getting the kills ahead. They're just like that one extra step ahead. So it's like, well, what would you think that you should do inside of this scenario?
Well, I think Waterloo has actually done the right thing here. They have called the timeout, right? Like, this is a Waterloo timeout that was called, and I think you need this. You've got to be reeling a little bit because you clearly have come into this game with a game plan, right? You have some executes in mind. We saw that early aggression out of the B site. We saw that they have some plays in mind, but just nothing is working out. So I think it was the right move by Waterloo. Call a timeout when you have the full rifle investment here. This is your opportunity to get back in the game. This is the time where you need to get an in-depth game plan, and this is the time to win a round. But again, with that change of pace you've been mentioning, Carleton flying into A site.
And we saw the possibility of a strong sort of defense coming out there, but opting to actually spread out, and we're seeing a hard flank going all the way around to try and catch A side.
Spike planted.
But Light there got 2 kills with that Sova ultimate right off the bat, hitting those wall bangs to perfection. Really great stuff. That is the opener this team needs now in a 5 versus 3 spike down scenario. I agree, the pinch is coming in, but will they win the gunfights? They've got to play this to perfection, and there's the 1-for-1 trade. It's looking so good. Prim with a double on this. Danny now the last man surviving, and Light cleans it up. The triple double comes in for the defense, and the Waterloo Warriors are on the board. You love to see the regain after a timeout.
Absolutely, and you're definitely seeing a different Warriors sort of come out here, where it wasn't so much the plan, it was the adaption. It was the, like, we're seeing you push on A. We had more than enough people to face you head to head, but is quickly realizing that it's like in these one-on-one scenarios, Carleton has been winning out. Opts instead to create a long flank to create this pinch, and even though you put in the astral wall, wasn't enough to actually stop this sort of offense coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be patient, right? You know, you get 2 kills off of that Sova ultimate immediately, and you get a little gun hungry, you know, you want to challenge into these gunfights, you know, you're feeling it in that moment, but that is how you throw away that lead. So great play there from Waterloo, you know, getting back into this match, but they still have a long way to go, and that is definitely a hard way to start. Jacklorv getting 1, and now an A execute once again likely on the cards, but you can see number 0 there all the way in the attacker spawn looking for any sort of flank. What is the timing going to be like on 4 and 5? The spike is going down. This could be the round deciding moment. 4 and 5, do they have the timing? But no, 0, I think he's got it. There's one from Jack, and the double. Oh no, that is a tragedy. You can't hit the flank twice. Prim's trying to make it happen, but now in the 1 versus 4, I think a save is on the cards, or if not, maybe a couple little celebratory kills here, but it's not looking too hot.
Yeah, it's rough, and a flank for a flank will leave Carleton in the lead at this specific juncture, and you could see it was an attempt to, it feels like they were attempting to follow through on what was so successful that last round. Having those flanks and even like doubling up on it was what was important. But Carleton just able to like swarm into A, not having enough delay that was actually coming out there like the last round, meant that everyone was too spread out from the Warriors to properly facilitate any sort of defense of the point, meaning that all the sight lines already covered.
Yeah, now a bit of a force buy coming in from the defenders, but so is the very fast B aggression. The shotgun comes flying in, but Chinese Shrug has got 1. Jacklorv, though, has been so good at returning these kills. Danny now, Riv, all lighting up in the kill feed, and that, in the blink of an eye, it's a 3 versus 1. The B site secured, but the spike not yet down. The bolt reveals Prim's location with just 19 health, and the old 6-shooter. This is gonna be a tough round.
Yeah, I'm counting only 3, so that's 2 bullets ahead. That's all you need. Oh, and there's one.
Nice headshot. All right, maybe there's a little bit of hope yet in this round. The spike is down. Gotta find some more, but this crossfire is just so tough. Not really a lot you can do there. Great setup out of the Ravens. Clearly a practice setup for them.
Yeah, I mean, when you have it's that patience that comes in. And it's working like a unit, and having the confidence that it's like, hey, we're gonna create this crossfire. I know you're gonna have it, and like that's on both sides for them. So just kind of closing it out, looking to do another heavy B-side push, coming in there, and it looks from the Warriors that it's going to be heavy on the central with 1 defender on each. Let's see how this works out, because this is very different than what they have, and I think something very different is what they're kind of requiring to kind of get back into things.
Yeah, but Danny's so aware there, thanks to the Killjoy turrets. Uses that Sova ultimate to pick up some of those flankers. Meanwhile, Jacklorv in the site, making things happen. Prim, the only defender so far to have gotten any sort of kill. Oh, and a clean little tap there. I believe it was 2 bullets, but I'll call it a tap either way. Gets him a second, but in this situation with just 5 health and a dream, it is exactly that, a dream. As this lead from the Carleton Ravens continues to extend, 9-1 already on the half. Things not looking good for Waterloo.
Yeah, and as much as it seemed like it seems like the Carleton, not the Carleton, the Waterloo Warriors, it would do the best when they have at least 2 defenders on their points, and then have whoever left kind of like lurking and creating those sort of pinches. That's when we've seen them like have the highest chance of success, because despite all the different support like utility that's kind of being dropped on these points, it seems like Carleton is able to just kind of move through, use their own information gathering tools to nullify or even make their own push even greater.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you are in this situation where you're feeling outdone, you're feeling like you just can't beat them in any sort of gun matchup. And as I say that, point made moves just going off. 2, 3, all headshots in the round, just ripping apart this Waterloo defense. Feeling it too much though, and Prim shuts him down in the connector. But now off of that triple, you just have the map completely open as the attackers, and now slowly but surely these defenders creep for any sort of hope of a retake, but the attackers, they know, and it's a slaughter.
Oh, that was some like
that's the firing squad. That's the firing squad right there. Like,
yeah, that's exactly that. Where like I'm sitting there and you get like tapped on the back of the head like it's some gangland shooting, and you're just how do you move along from that? This is a 10-1. There's a bunch of games coming on there, and we've seen definitely more fight coming out of the Warriors that's coming out there. But when again someone pops off that hard, is just like 1, 2, 3. This is shooting fish in a barrel. It's gonna be a morale hit at the very least.
Absolutely, and off that morale hit, they are flying into the B site. This last round of the half looking to be a B play. There are 2 defenders here, but they are really pinned into the back of this site. They have got the bait and switches, Light and Chinese Shrug, good for 2 so far. And now the reinforcements are here, but no, Vex missing. Oh no, what a whiff, but Kip looking to pick up the pieces, Light as well. And just like that, it's a 3 versus 1 and 5. A second round out of the defenders. After all that time, they get something.
That's right. That's the type of pushback you need after that like quick 3 frag that kind of really cemented the last round. So there's a pulse. There's signs of life that's coming out right now. And again, new round. Let's see what can come out of it. Because again, that little economic edge just from like a quick like the pistol round going the way you want it to. Fundamentally sets up everything going forward. It's what we saw making Ravens so strong, just that economic lead and then strangling out the Warriors as things went along.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think winning the last round of a half like that, on a B rush is just such a confidence booster. It sort of helps be a bit of a mental reset coming into this second half. So hoping we see some smart plays out of them, as now a bit of shouldering coming out of Jacklord. The location revealed, the capture orb comes through for Vex, and now the full-on hit for our defenders here. And the flash is so brilliant. Riv and Jacklov on the defensive side get 2, but Prim has answered with 1. Flying up on tops of the boxes is Vex, but he cannot win one fight. Jacklorv is just unstoppable here in this site. The brick wall, the menace, Astra holding on, getting the triple. The spike is down, and so is Moves. Chinese Shrug still in this round. Lots of time to lurk, lots of time to play with the hearts and minds of the Carleton Ravens, but not a lot of health or weaponry to do it. But there is the headshot, and now the 1 versus 1, the battle of the ages, the comeback attempt on the table. Chinese Shrug hoping to make it happen here. But the creep through. Oh, but the headshot is so clean. Chinese Shrug with the triple in the round, and that is the start of something beautiful here. Carleton has got to be shaking in their boots. The Waterloo Warriors are here to play.
That's right, and from the pulse that we saw comes life renewed, and we are moving in. We're seeing they flipped, right? Red's now Raven.
That is right. Or okay. No, Red is attacker, so that will be the Waterloo Warriors.
Gotcha.
Chinese Shrug there, that triple. Put some love on his name. Come on, the man is here for your eco kills now as well. 4 out of 7 on the ultimate charge. If he gets a triple here, a round 3 ultimate when those
easy
rifles
triple
are first coming out, that's a big threat.
Yeah, not an easy task, but again, a major momentum swing that could come from that.
Yeah, now moves. Oh, with the little jump headshot. That
That
right.
was saucy.
Classic. Yeah, getting a little freaky with it. Meanwhile, Rib with the shorty collecting, but Vex is there for the trade. So a 1-for-1 at the end of the day feels good for the defenders in this situation on this full eco. Maybe looking to toy with the hearts and minds of Waterloo, but now they are into this A site. The spike is coming through a little bit late and will now just start to be planted, as this is all but an inevitability for the Waterloo Warriors, but we've heard crazy things about the Ravens, so maybe they'll show us some of that magic here in this retake.
Revealing area.
That's all we're looking for, trying to get as much information, and we're seeing the very, like, slow pinch, one on every angle, and they're just waiting for it. A predator lurking in the bushes, waiting for the Warriors to let their guard down, to be ready to pounce. This is such good patience.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're almost just looking for the exit kills instead. Rubsky finally throws out the full peak instead of just a shoulder, gets a cheeky little dink, and the right click almost actually takes down Chinese Shrug. Danny cleans it up. There are trades back and forth, but at the end of the day, the spike has gone off. And 2 attackers will go on with those SMGs. Not the heaviest hitting of weapons, but it's a little bit of money saved. The real question is, do they just force the upgrade anyways? Because any sort of round loss at this point is an astronomical loss when the score line is where it is.
Yeah, and this is very much like this is tantamount to exactly what we saw coming for them on the other side. So we're seeing the strong capacity for the snowball to sort of kick in, even with Carleton being the presupposed stronger of the teams, and we're seeing Chinese Shrug not struggling to get that ultimate up. So definitely going to be a factor coming into this round when the Carleton Ravens need something.
Yeah, and just to nerd out a little bit on some tech from the Ravens here, I love when the Odin comes out for Sova on this map. I think it is so strong in that B point. It's a great anchor tool to just be able to spray through the wall. And speaking of spraying, Jacklor picks up 1. The trade is there from Light, but Moves is also hoping to collect. Chinese Shrug ends up cleaning him up with the headshot, and now a 2 versus 3 for the attackers. This round is not over yet. The defense is so split up. Look at the spread around the map, but that headshot from Riv surely to secure the round, unless Vex has got something magical up his sleeve. Slowly creeping up the catwalk, passing dog, but Riv just so calm and collected, gets the second on the round and gets round 11 for the Ravens.
Yeah, and we're seeing Ravens, like the strength that they showed in the entire first half of this game here, where when it comes to those sort of quick picks and stuff like that on the single player, on the 1-to-1 sort of thing, you have, like, they are the ones who come through. They secure those kills, like, so consistently. We got that double tap in, and that just folded up the entire plan for the Warriors going forward.
Yeah, and it was so almost disjointing, it looked like, on the Warriors side. You know, just the peaks are coming out one at a time from different angles, and they're just not quite ready. The headshots are just too on point. But a nice little boost up from Moobs means he is getting a freebie onto Vex. In the meantime, Danny spamming through the wall with that LMG, as mentioned, has picked up another. But Chinese Shrug hoping to return fire. The wall bangs doing some nice damage, but not able to chase down that kill. Jacklor now shutting doors on this A site. Maybe gonna look to get a little bit aggressive, but no. Instead opts to take the safer rotation through the defender spawn. But is this with some bad timing as the attackers slowly creep to A?
Yeah, seeing them split up here is a little bit daunting, but from the last round, that quick 2-tap fundamentally changed everything. So wouldn't be surprised if that could happen. Like, to say that'll happen again is a little bit of a bold statement, but we've seen it go the other way around now.
Kip with such a nice headshot there on the opener. Beautiful entry into the site means the spike is going to go down certainly. And all of a sudden, just like that, it's a 3 versus 3 retake scenario. The health is a little bit lower for the attackers of Waterloo. Oh, and that's an aggressive jump from Prim. I don't like that. Play the crossfires with your team, but it doesn't matter because Chinese Shrug picks up one. Kip another. Can he close it out? Yes. A triple on the round for Kip. The thrifty to boot. And there is another one for the Waterloo Warriors. They are not yet out of this match. A nice play there, making sure to play the rotation game, getting a little impatient on Carleton's side. They maybe think they should have already won this match, but no, the slow creep towards A reaps rewards, and there is another round for Waterloo.
I think what we're seeing is Waterloo being able to kind of thrive on the chaos that's kind of being like created now, where they're basically going, hey, if something doesn't go right, we're just gonna have to, like, you know, rely on what we know and work with that. And then with that in mind, it's hard for Carleton to properly be able to ascertain exactly what's happening, and we're seeing these broken down sort of multi-faceted pushes that are coming through.
And speaking of multifaceted pushes here, what was supposed to be a bit of an eco cleanup round for Waterloo got a little bit dicey there as some kills came through from the attacker, or from the defenders, excuse me, of Carleton. But in the end, it is a spike down. It is a 3 versus 1 in B, a very difficult site to retake. So I think that this round is all but done and dusted. Maybe going to try and scavenge an AR or two, but no, Riv is looking to go for it. Is equipped with a Vandal, so that one-tap headshot is on the cards. But Chinese Shrug, will he give him something? Yes, but
he got the
immediately
tap
there with the trade, and he does indeed get the tap. Another point for the ultimate is always nice, but that 3v1, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, most definitely. And we're seeing ultimates, a lot of ultimates actually coming up right now for the Warriors. Going to be very interesting having that that wall as well as the knives, creating a very some very dangerous possibilities coming forward, which might be able to stabilize the sort of how should I say it, scrappy defenses that have been coming out.
Yeah, and meanwhile on the other side, those two ultimates means that you have a lot of tools to shut down this gun round, right? And this is how you come back in a game. You win a gun round, and then an eco, and then a gun round, and then all of a sudden they're on an eco again for another freebie. And next thing you know, the score is 11-9 or 11-10, and things get out of control. But on the other side, looking to make sure that that control is maintained, the operator on defense is so lethal. That one-tap shot makes it so effortless to get kills in that middle area. The perfect accuracy coming through. And now a 4 versus 5. What is the game plan for Waterloo? They're stacking up to B. Is it going to be the full hit? But the arrow comes through. The information is paramount. The LMG spam is there. And now, oh, they're in the crossfire. Vex tries to get something. One is there. Light with another. But this is looking like an impossibility. A 1 versus 3 now on the cards if Light wants to get this round. And he has crept into a bit of an awkward scenario, or a nice little timing for himself. But it looks like Zero here. Jack Lorv is on the case, but no! Light with the one tap just wipes him off the face of the earth effortlessly. And now this is free reign to the A site. The spike is going to go down.
Yeah, that little like moments of ships passing in the fog there, unbeknownst to one another through the wall, has fundamentally swapped things over. And now we have a man on a run.
Yeah, and Sova in the retake is such a great agent. You know, those arrows mean you can check if someone is really sticking the spike or tapping for a fake, but a 2 versus 1 is never an easy task. So he has got to play his cards right. Danny now creeping forward, but could it be caught some bad timing, but the shots are not there. But no, Light with the triple now on the round.
Revealing area.
Tension is palpable.
The arrows. Oh no, but the defuse, the stick, is it gonna, oh my goodness! Danny off the turn from the spike, gets it. How does that happen? He had him dead to rights, the clutch is in, the timing was there. Let's go, Waterloo. That is what you like to see, a surprise win, and the mental of Carleton has got to be shaken.
that was just a wild moment where we've been like consistently Carleton's been stronger inside these like those 1v1 scenarios, and now the script is getting flipped going forward here, and that was just again such a clutch performance coming out, all fundamentally working off of that little bit of like whether it was 5-head sort of play or some beautiful luck occurring, just being able to phase through that wall unbeknownst to the opponents and then get to that A side just to start everything off. A lot of things happening.
Absolutely, and that is such a confidence booster now. And remember how I was mentioning the snowball effect, the economy coming into play? Well, it is at play now. The Ravens all on pistols here. They do not have any sort of rifles. It's going to make winning this round a near impossibility, especially when China...
My co-caster has been having a few difficulties
all over the place, and now... the spike going down, and there it is. The plant comes through. The 5 versus 2. This round is all but done and dust.
Last player standing.
Yeah, definitely. And a little bit of resistance kind of coming out, but we're seeing that eco swing come inside of coming big at this point. Nothing more to it.
Danny
gets one.
Yeah, there's one. You know, it's a freebie, so he's got that for himself, but in the end, cleaned up. About what you expected, right? You had those upgraded pistols, you had the basic armor, but now this is the real opportunity to get back into the game for Carleton. They've got some rifles, they've got an operator, and if you lose this round on the defense, you're really going to be sweating.
Yeah, and we're seeing a major sort of split coming out of offense right now. Maybe looking to try and spread the defenders as thin as possible. Looks like a 2 push into the center.
Mid-map being controlled by Waterloo at this time. Slowly creeping forward, the spike just in their spawn, not wanting to give away the information of someone carrying that. Light nearly clipped by this operator, but doesn't end up falling. Moves just shy on the shot, but to be fair, it was quite the shoulder, so it would be a damn feat of skill to land it. So now just scoped up here at the A site. All is quiet in the world, just trying to feel each other out, see where that utility comes through. Not a whole heck of a lot happening, just seeing where they're going to end up.
Yeah, the defender drone went through center, seeing the 2 that are posted there. Now we're seeing offense flip over to B side in a big way.
This stack is here. The Killjoy is active, and just like that, the execute is going to happen. The defender Killjoy immediately used in response, a great tool to make sure their teammates can rotate in, and as a result of that, the Waterloo Warriors, they just say see you later. They go running. All 5 players dipped on out of there. They are crossing through mid-map, but looking number 1 in this lurk position. That is such an effective spot to catch defenders, but the timing doesn't go their way. Looks like number 6 might get the best of them, but Prim gets one. Riv immediately with a B-hop into a double, but Chinese Shrug responds. Danny now with that LMG gets 1. It's a 2 versus 3. The clock is ticking down. Seconds left here. The plant is coming through, but the wall bang is superior.
I have the spike.
Yeah, 1 more to kind of clean up, and it's looking elementary at that point. And a very, very responsive Killjoy for Killjoy ult, forcing what started as a center push going into a B push. That B push flipped over to A. Quick responses coming through, and just a wild shooting gallery that came from it. That was just has me at a loss for words.
It was clinical. I think that this is the experience of Carleton showing here. You know, it's Waterloo's first match of the season, whereas Carleton has a bit of that experience under their belt. So I think that experience coming into play, and now the experience is going to hopefully close out the match for them. Carleton Ravens on match point. Waterloo looking to defend. Let's see if they've got ice in the veins. They're stacking up for the full-on A execute. If there was ever a happy-go-lucky play, this is it. And Rubsky is there to respond.
Yeah, better to be happy than lucky at this point, where you're seeing the offense kind of retreat back, trying to lick their wounds after being pushed away from A. And we're seeing 9, that's the Sky, kind of a little bit of a cheeky position with all of her capacity to kind of get vision and spot where the opponents are. It's going to be a kind of beacon for the defense.
Yeah, now creeping up. Oh, Riv getting that kill on the Prim is huge because the numbers game is so important in these low player count scenarios. Now another for Riv, the crossfire, the bait and switch just so on point there. Nice attempt out of the attackers here, but just being stonewalled. The hot guns of Carleton is just too much to handle. And there it is, the 13-6 win. Carleton brings home map number 1.
Yep, continuing the winning streak going forward, as it were. And that wasn't just in the bag from all the way. There was definitely some major struggle to actually get through that, and that's a good sign for the Warriors kind of going through with. I think not being the odds-on favorites to get the win here definitely showed that, like, given a few more matches, kind of getting their feet beneath them, they can make a definite run for things.
Absolutely, and when you're playing against such a strong opponent, it's important to take these matches as growth experiences, right? This is the pinnacle, right? This is the standard. This is the upper echelon, the Grey Coupon, the creme de la creme. This is the thing you aspire to be in this OPS league, but they can't be thinking about that learning experience quite yet because we still have more games ahead of us. We're going to be jumping to a quick break, but we'll be back with map number 2, so don't go anywhere. Carleton Ravens versus the Waterloo Warriors. We'll see you in a few.
welcome back to the OPSE matchup versus Carleton Ravens and the Waterloo Warriors. And it was quite a matchup that we had over on Ascent for the first run of it, where Carleton Ravens started one hell of a snowball, but Waterloo Warriors, they're no slouch there. They definitely put a major slow to it coming the second time around, or they put a little bit of the eco crunch back on Carleton Ravens' way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, starting off with, I think it was a 10-2 half, I want to say. I might be
believe,
wrong
yeah.
on that number. Somewhere in that ballpark to give you an idea of the kind of thrashing that Carleton was handing out. But in the second half, as you say, Waterloo showing a lot of resilience, getting back into the game. Now here on second map, we're going to be going to Haven. So Haven is a very interesting one. The triple bomb site is a very interesting dynamic. The defenders are spread so thin. So typically Haven is a very attacker favored map because there is just so many lines of sight. There is so many sites in general that it means you're spread very thin. It means the attackers can really run away with it. So we might see another one of those snowball heavy matches here.
We're seeing a Brimstone hover from Kip. It's gonna change up the oh, and we're actually getting that pick through, so that's gonna be a lot of smoke coming on the attacker's side. It's the one deviation that we've seen thus far. Oh, that's not making, okay, Chinese Shrug, I gotta actually say big props to him, not making a liar out of me. That's Brimstone. However, that I believe would be Breach. Yeah, that's Breach. So we're seeing a lot more through the wall sort of offensive potential coming from the attackers, which makes a lot of sense given this. And we're seeing the sort of tried and true high amount of intel available for the defenders. And we're seeing Cypher getting chosen also.
Yeah, Cypher is such a classic on this map. The cameras are so helpful for spotting out those offensive pushes. It's a really great agent to have on this map. I'm actually quite surprised that it wasn't picked for both sides. A bit interesting to see. And in general, we're seeing that Waterloo is really focusing on control. Astra, Cypher, and Sova all locked in for them is a very interesting trio of characters to be rocking with. And just for you, the viewers, Waterloo will be beginning on attack here, while the Carleton Ravens will start off on defense. So let's see what sort of momentum Waterloo can come into this with. We've seen what they can do with their backs against the wall. Now, when they have the initiative, when they have this opportunity to come out swinging, can they take it and make Carleton sweat?
Yeah, we're also definitely another factor about this is we're not seeing the mirror match on this. We're seeing different agents now going up against one another. So maybe this is a little bit of an understanding that it's like we need to swap, that we need to change the strategy. We need to kind of play a little bit off from what is going on here. And we're seeing the first push coming through center, and that's already on to B. But we're seeing
Spike, yeah, looking to maybe play some mind games here, get the defenders to crunch so hard onto that B site, and it's working wonders. Look at this. This has got to be a set piece coming out of Waterloo. So calculated here. The smoke goes up from Jet, the bomb tap, and just like that, the rotation into C, and we'll get our 5 versus 5 bomb site defense. Light opening up already. 4 versus 5 as here come the defenders through the smoke. They've got one, but it was traded. But now Jack Lorf, he is finding heads. 2 already on the round, looking for more, but location revealed will make it tougher. But these attackers in the retake are in a precarious spot. Locked down in this lane. The defuse can come through, and there it is. The guns are just too hot for Carleton. They cannot be stopped in this pistol, and they will secure round 1.
Yeah, that they did, and we saw the kind of the scramble that was happening, but like that was, well, a scramble on one side. The poke into B to then cause a reaction to then all shift all the way over to C was something to behold. That's showing the level of coordination that's coming out here. That's going to be fundamental going forward once things start getting more established. Once the ultimates start coming out. That's what's going to separate the separate the good teams from the best teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really important for Waterloo here is to not get shaken by that round loss. You know, your plan, you've come into round one with a plan, right? You clearly have something in mind for the opener, and everything goes right initially, right? Everything goes flawlessly. The B tap completely fools the defenders. You get that effortless plant, the 5 versus 5 retake, and then you just lose one gunfight after another. So I think it's important here not to be shaken, to just know that, hey, our plans are sound. We just have to keep smashing our head against the wall, and eventually it'll result in rounds.
Mm-hmm. And maybe in response to that, we're seeing a lot more of a slower, methodical approach that's coming through, trying to use all of those sort of like those characters with their set pieces and whatnot to like gather that information and like use the wallbang capacity to really sort of make something. And we're seeing it pop through right there.
And now here comes the full execute, but a gorgeous flash. But Prim, actually, I think while completely blinded, is able to pick up Rib. Meanwhile, the SMG's just completely shredding through these pistols, but Light in the back end with that shorty. The boomstick comes through with one, but just, but ignore everything I'm saying. Light, he's made this a possibility, a 2 versus 1. They know where he is because of the dart. And there it is, Danny with the wall bang. A tough situation, no doubt.
I believe.
A glimmer of hope, as you say, for a moment, but just too clean out of Carleton.
That is exactly correct. And we really have been actually seeing condensed pushes on this map being funneled into very sort of narrow spaces that is going to be interesting when we actually see the teams flipped over onto the other side, because it feels like the attacking team was for the most part, has everything designed to really facilitate those narrow chokes for people going into them, not the reverse.
And now a bit of aggression out of both sides, and Vex actually gets a free little double, sprayed down with the pistol as a result during the reload, and Kip is looking for the trade but not able to collect. Will he at least be able to stop Rib from picking up the gun? No. So now that is a rifle into the hands of the defenders, and what was supposed to be a bonus round is now turning into a potential round win. You know, starting with SMGs and now having a rifle in your hands, this is a very possible win, but Chinese Shrug looking to make sure it's not the case. A 4 versus 2 with the spike down at C means that the defenders here have a lot of ground to cover and a lot of guns to face. So maybe they're going to look to scavenge some rifles, just save those over into the next round. But for now, they continue to creep forward.
Yeah, we're seeing the 3 posted up along that hallway, and Cypher going on a little bit of a trek of his own, and gets the kill, and looks to clean up, and does so again. Chinese Shrug being a major MVP for all of these matches thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. Triple on the round there. Now, granted, in Carleton's defense, it was the bonus round, right? They did just have those SMGs for the most part, not opting to upgrade their weaponry. So, you know, not too much money lost in the grand scheme of things. They're not too upset about the round loss. So now this is where you have to convert for Waterloo, right? You got the bonus round. It got a little bit mixy there, you know, the SMG upgraded to an AR and all that. But here is the chance to prove yourself. The rifles v rifles, you have to show that you can take rounds on this offense-favored map.
We're seeing the knives out very quickly, trying to get some cheeky one-taps.
The location reveal from the bolt means that Carleton is able to steer clear or maybe rotate the operator into challenge moves. He was such a threat in Game 1, the top scorer for Carleton and in the server. So can he find anything? Smoke goes down and the blind fire nearly connects. Not quite, but at least he has spent a little bit of that utility on the attacker's side. Meanwhile, the full rotate to C comes in with Chinese Shrug lurking at the B site. This is going to be a huge round for Jack Lorp. He has to come up big. The smokes are out, but so too is the attacker utility. He's flashed, he's slowed, he is dropped, and now the attacker is into the site, but the trades are going so defensive favored. Finally, a 2 versus 2 spike going down. This is where the marbles are on the table. Light even collecting another. A 2 versus 1 for Danny. Can he close this out? Can he be the clutch factor for Carleton?
Yeah, and we see Sovu be the exact type of person to actually pick this sort of thing up. Right there with the capacity to get as much information as he can, but walking into a tunnel of death.
Graham
Taken out.
doesn't even need the help there of his teammate. Just makes it happen all on his own. You know what? Team play, that's for suckers. I'm feeling confident in my gun skill, and I'm going to take you out. And that he does. So, once again, Waterloo Warriors securing that second round there, showing that they can do more than the bonus round. And as a result, now Carleton back onto the eco, having only these pistols, some upgraded pistols, granted, some basic armor on a couple, but still lacking in terms of the weaponry. This is almost a certainty for Waterloo, but we have seen crazy things happen.
Yeah, certainties are not so certain inside of games like this, and we're seeing the rival kill switch ults pop off real quick, denying the center, and everyone's just trying to figure out how to move there. We're seeing on the right side a little bit of creep coming from the defenders, and sight lines intertwined. There's a lot of knives, but nothing connecting fully.
Moobs is going to be kicking himself over that one. That is a tilt knife if I've ever seen it, you know, missing all those in succession. And now Jacklorf trying to get a nice little timing, jiggles in the door, but the flashbangs are here, and so are the headshots. Riv, though, with a great response. Jumping out the window is Rubsky, but he is not even needed because Riv is collecting heads with this pistol. Flying out middle, Light is getting one. He gets two, but Danny has traded elsewhere. Now got him locked into the corner, but with only a pistol, can he get it? Backup is coming. Light has managed to bait this out for so long. There's one, and I think actually it was the collateral, but because of being the headshot through one, it means it isn't a kill. That round was way too close for comfort. Carleton so close, and moves off of those misses earlier is going to be thinking, what if?
Believing in that spray. I was watching it happen, and I'm like, that's that next bullet that comes out, but a fraction of a second is all it takes to keep yourself alive inside of this. And we're seeing 3 ults over on the attacker, especially with the large wall and the corpse snitch coming out of Cypher. It's going to be an interesting time.
Yeah, absolutely, and there is rifles on the defender, so this would be a great round to use them, or maybe you don't even need them with people like Vex securing heads, getting another off the spray, and feeling it as a result, flying into the site, sees it's all clear, calls...
Yeah, we're seeing it's from all clear into trying to put... Nope, there we go. After you.
Oh, there's some kills. There's the spike. And there is Riv flying out the window for a freebie onto Prim. And maybe another even at that. A triple now in the round. It means it's a 1 versus 1. Light looking for the arrow, but Riv, the spray is just so good. A quad feed on the round. Gonna even up the score line. This is what you need from your players. You need these star moments to get these defensive wins.
Absolutely, cleaning house right here, and one of those deep cleans. It's fall, but it's looking like spring cleaning for Riv right now.
Oh, he's got the Swiffer out. He's got the mop. He is breaking it all out. The sponge on the bathroom walls. The things you do once every couple years. And as a result, it means that actually I'm lying. I was completely lying to you guys. I was going to talk about how it sort of broke the economy of the attackers, but that's the defenders with SMGs in their hands. Just goes to show how fragile things are when it gets down to that 1 versus
1 scenario, and we're seeing moves with the looking at the long sight line, and we're seeing the right side push coming from the attack, very heavy. While we have a flank coming in very deep from the 4 side.
Yeah, number 4 there has gotten himself into a cheeky little spot, but the spike is coming down, so that means that there is unlikely to be much.
Sovu just letting loose, making sure that it's not enticing to move there. We're seeing a trade between the two.
Yeah, kills back and forth all over the place. For the light weaponry, this has gotten real close, and finally a 2 versus 1. And it's on the operator. Gets one and drops to light. A very close round. Again, Carleton is within sniffing distance of all these rounds, but they're just not quite able to close out.
Yeah, we're seeing a definite turning of the tides here, and it's going back and forth. That quick op, that snap kill however impressive as it was, just wasn't able to continue that trend, especially up against the faster firing weaponry that was being posed against him. Seeing a spread out defense right now, and I wonder if the attackers are going to go for a little bit of a slower paced attack. We've seen these sort of like high pressure, like these high speed, low drag attacks not go for them inside of the most beneficial ways. So yeah, we're seeing everything kind of slow down and trying to make some things happen with that drone.
Yeah, and I think here as Waterloo, you just want to take it slow so you don't get caught off by something crazy. You know, these pistols are out for the defenders. You know, you don't have a lot to worry about. So why not be a little bit more patient, right? Just take it slow, make sure you're not caught off guard, give them no windows back into the game because it.
Yeah, because things can go crazy. We're seeing a little bit of a standoff between
lead further and further.
Chinese Shrug and whatnot, and everyone's kind of bunkered down over onto the seaside. And we're seeing the push happen now.
Off your feet!
Yeah, stacking up at C, there goes the wall. Ultimate burned on an eco is not what you'd probably want to see, but it doesn't seem to matter. Or will it? Rubsky actually getting one headshot with that classic, but Kip and Prim there to respond. Now Danny chiming in, but it does not matter. The superior weaponry is just too much at the end of the day. A triple on the eco kills for Kip, and there it is, round number 5 for Waterloo.
Yeah, and we're seeing very much like on the attack these slower sort of movements kind of come through at this point, getting a pretty decent lead going forward. Assault rifles on either side. Nearly everyone's armored up. I'm actually seeing Prim. Okay, Prim swapped over to the pistol, and I'm like, all right, being bold.
Yeah, you got to really be feeling it to go for the pistol when you have the cash on hand.
We have the cash on hand. Right now we're seeing a large spread, but Moobs pushing in, trying to find some connections, and 2 coming their way. Oh, gets the first flank kill, uses the fog, but not fast enough. And that's now going to be 3 on defense versus 4 onto the attack. Chinese Shrug moving further in.
Rubsky, I don't know if he's this close, and no, there is the headshot cleaned up there, and as a result, Riv now looking to get aggressive on the flank, but revealed as a result, so Chinese Shrug well and truly aware. Jacklorb, in the meantime, gets some great timing onto Vex, collects a freebie there, and the spike is at C. How long can Jacklorb stay alive? Because he is instrumental. He is allowing his team to rotate in, if he had any, I should say, because they've all fallen around him. So while he goes for some jump peaks, while he tries to get a kill or 2, it's just not enough. Waterloo continuing to grow this lead. And now Carleton back onto the pistols again, and got to be feeling a little defeated, even with this attacker-sided map.
Yeah, and you saw like a lot of really good movement around the fog that Jacklorb had, being able to get into that corner, but from that corner getting tagged by Light's electro arrow coming up and over. So as much as it was like good personal play that was there, just the cards were too stacked. Couldn't do much about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole team knows where you are, right? You're sort of stuck in the corner. It's an unwinnable situation, really. It's going to take multiple miracles to bail you out of that one. And as a result, things go as expected. Meanwhile, hoping to get some tricky, unexpected peeks with these knives is Moobs, looking into the corner, trying to dodge any flashes, and maybe trying to get something middle here. Chinese Shrug has been a total menace lurking in this middle section of the map, but I think they're on to his game plan. Moobs here, looking at that corner. Finally there. Oh, and he even cleans up the second.
Spike
there we
down,
go.
mid.
Making up for the mishap with the knives earlier is Moobs, finally landing something. And now the utility flies out, enabling him to peek some more. A triple on the round, flying forward, maybe looking for the A speed, but he's got 2 more to go, and Danny has secured 1 already. The knives go wide, and this round is looking all Carleton. Just 1 defender dropped. Their economy saved by that.
Yeah, no, Moob's coming in with the knives, making this place look like Hell's Kitchen over here. Just cleaning house and making some magic happen, but that was all pushed through via Riv's additional information, because sent out the dog forward there and then threw the jellyfish in front of that to actually cause some movement and flush people out, to have Moobs be able to like sort of clean it out. Essentially, Riv was the hunting hounds for Moobs on the horseback.
Yeah, and they've got that dynamic locked down. I mean, it's hard to complain about being the carrot on a stick when your man with the knives so far behind is just lining them up. Now, on the other side, Waterloo looking to respond with a similar play. Vex pulling that ultimate early, and Jack Lord revealed here and now stunned up, looking like a free target for Vex. He goes high, but is actually dropped. Jack Lord able to find that Prim, immediately responding, but the trades back and forth are going so far into the favor of Carleton. Now, the doggo attack by Riv, spotting out players, allowing Moobs and Danny to collect, and just like that, it's a 5th for the Ravens.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing so much being created with like that dog running interference so consistently. Only one ultimate ready over on attacker's side, that is Sovu's, so wallbangs are on the menu, and we're seeing a few people one away from their ultimate over on defense. So this is going to be a very important final round for this section before we flip over, because if either Danny or Jackloff can get their ultimate to be able to kind of create a swing going on, you could see some major things happening.
Absolutely, and Moobs looking to get aggressive with that operator here, which I like, but it doesn't end up resulting in any picks. A little unfortunate for him, but happy to get away with his life as a result. Now, the attackers creeping over towards this A site, maybe thinking that Moobs is going to do a huge reposition, you know, fly all the way over to C in a predictive manner, but no, actually lurking here on A with his compadre in Danny, looking for some information with that recon drone, and he finds it. Meanwhile, the blasting coming through the wall, the ultimates expended, and the full-on execute at play here for A, but there are defenders here, and it doesn't matter because Kip and Vex are good for the openers, and just like that, the spike is surely to go down. I almost question if Carleton even goes for the retake. I think saving those rifles would be the smart move.
Yeah, definitely. Seeing this down to 2 people left over, we're seeing going high, popping some smoke, as it were, trying to make something happen, have all the information. Still has a hawk and still has, well, nothing now because dropped onto the ground.
Yeah, Vex coming with the heat in this round, and Jack Lord goes for the honorable death there, flying into the site, at least able to pick up one with him, but it is a quad as a result for the attackers. Now, getting that lead back in to their favor before the half switch. 7-5 is maybe not quite the score that you would be hoping for on such an attacker favored map, but it is a 2-round lead, and things start with the pistol. You weren't able to pick this up in the first half as the attackers, despite having a really solid game plan. So if they're able to bring it back here, if they're able to get this defensive pistol, they are still in a prime position to take this game and make it a 3-match series.
Yeah, and it's definitely looking like the Warriors have figured something out. That's either they've either figured out what Ravens are doing, or they're figuring out their own strategy and are able to actually implement. And we're seeing ults get dropped. We're seeing a lot of abilities get thrown out really quick with that Quake being thrown out right off the top.
Yeah, and both teams just sort of posturing here, seeing what utility is expended. But the creep into C means the spike is going to go down without any casualties. A 5 versus 5 retake now, and Prim looking to get number 1. Dropped to just 22 health, and finally taken down is Moobs. And now the defenders all stacked up here at the back of this C site, looking to make something happen. The doggo attack is very effective, and Jack Lord is looking for the trade. He's got one. Rubsky is there for another, but Prim returning on the other side. This is a cluster, but it is a cluster that Waterloo is winning. There it is, the pistol win. their hopes still alive in this match.
You failed.
Yeah, and that was like very much because you saw like such like a large spread, and it was all about the quick response, drawing everyone from A and B over to C, but not inside of a sort of chaotic push in this like large just conga line to just kind of get headshot. It was tempered and balanced out play that kind of led things to figure themselves out. So now we're seeing the attackers over here. A lot of central positioning happening here. A little bit of movement display coming from our boy, but here we go, really quick.
Yeah, flying up the middle of the map here, maybe to just play the numbers game. The spike is going down immediately at B, and I think Moogs here actually has a Bucky in his back pocket, not able to make anything happen, but Riv is there for the cleanup. But 3 kills onto the side of the defenders makes this round all but an inevitability. Rubsky and number 3 there, that Sova, looking to maybe keep them off the spike as long as possible. There is a world where they can hold them off for the match, but with a bunch of defenders here to defend this spike defuse, it's looking unlikely, and it means that despite having an attacker alive, the defenders will come through with a round win. Cleaned up at the end by Vex for good measure, and extending that lead by 4.
Yeah, this was definitely the fastest start to plant that we've seen thus far inside of any of the games, and kind of see how it sort of played out from there. Very much, it was very interesting to try and be like, we're on the back foot, let's push them, let's see what they do with this sort of new aggression, and you gotta feel confident that you absorbed it, you took it in. Like they put a left hook towards you, and you just shook it right off and threw the haymaker their way.
Yeah, now Chinese Shrug taken out with that shorty in hand. Now, I think this is a bonus round out of the defender, so it wouldn't be the end of the world to lose it by any means. But even in these bonus round situations, if you do lose, you at least want to do some economic damage, you know, make the attackers reinvest in those rifles, spend their credits. But so far, so good out of Carleton. 5 alive with the spike down means that it's going to take a miracle from Vex with this ultimate. Oh! He goes between the uprights, and Riv takes him out for his troubles, nearly onto both players, but just not quite.
That was heartbreaking. There's one thing to like have like the spray coming out of automatic weapon not hitting exactly where you want to have, but I think every like maybe one of those knives connected on 2 different people right in front of you, that's just that's the worst timeline. That's what it is.
Yeah, and when you're right in between those 2 players, your brain will sometimes freeze and try to snap onto both of them or go to the further away player, and it just creates a real mess of confusion in that moment. So maybe kicking himself a little bit is Vex, but at the end of the day, it is the bonus round. There is the full rifles now, and they can look to get it back here.
Yeah, decided to round up instead of round down on that one, and we're seeing the dog come out that we've seen make so many plays, and we're seeing a lot of push onto C. Ooh!
Vex there with the defense, now repositioning out of sight. Prim also picking up 1 from the long position, and there is 2. The spike is down. Vex is in smoke with Riv and doesn't know. It means there's a couple kills, and now a 3rd out of the attackers. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, it's 2 versus 1. Carleton's Danny looking to make an impact, but this pinch is just so clinical. Kip there for the headshot, and that means that Waterloo is the first to double digits. They are in pole position to bring us to map number 3. So close, but their economy is looking so bad. A lot of these players are not going to get their full rifle armor utility that they'd hope to.
Yeah, and like I believed in that push. I saw how fast like they were like aggressing in and whatnot, but getting tapped on the dash just kind of took out all the steam, all the wind underneath their wings, as some might even say, for that push. And this sort of aggressive side of Ravens is getting rebuffed at like every opportunity that we're seeing.
Yeah, I'd love to see them push and pull on the map a little bit, exploit that there is 3 sites, but they are ignoring me, instead opting to charge into C once again. And yet again, we're seeing the defenders of Waterloo just clean house. Kill after kill goes their way. Vex is even there, hitting a shot through the gap in that smoke. There's a 2 versus 1 now towards C. The spike is down, but I'm not sure if the defenders know it. Vex very cautious of this window. And Danny, with some unlucky timing. He was on the read. He had the crosshair placement, but just too far around that corner means he's going for a long loop to see, and it's a long way to that spike.
Yeah, but still, we're seeing a very slow movement coming out of the Warriors right here. And having that drone out, it's going to be a lot of information that's coming on. Not seeing the defuse happening just yet. And time is ticking away, down to 35 seconds.
Yeah, and what that drone allows Dane to do here is not take so long clearing every little tight angle on the site. Means he can charge forward, fake a plant, but the location reveal from the bolt is so good by Light. Even shouldering some more with another bolt. Danny just desperately looking for something here, trying to find anything, but he does get the spike down as a result of his shenanigans, as a result of delaying that bolt. But can he win the 2 versus 1? Oh, this timing. Oh, no. No, surely not. No.
And actually connects with it. Oh, there we go. There's the dash in.
Oh, and he's heard that too. Danny, he's looking for it. He's got the arrow. This is the prime position for a Sova to win in a 1 versus 2. Bomb down. Vex diffusing. The bolt, but no. There it is. Danny, too damn good.
Hell yeah, and we saw just being able to hold on to so many resources that by the end, having the ability to throw out that information arrow, gather everything in, and being able to kind of close the whole thing out. Now we're seeing we have 3 ults on deck for both teams. Kip is also one away from his, and that means we're going to be seeing some fireworks coming our way.
Absolutely, and Chinese Shrug here throwing down these cameras that we highlighted earlier as being a huge piece of the C defense. But that was, I don't even know what that was.
That was yeah, that was creativity.
Yeah, and Danny collecting another here. This is the Ravens playing catch up, right? The offensive side of this map is the favored side. They are getting back into this game as a result of these round wins. Some heroics too, really, to make it happen. But the shorty in the corner, not enough. Moves is there with the knives. Riv is there with the guns. Kip is able to trade one back and maybe even secure a rifle, but no, there it is. Jack Lorv to clean things up. The eco dismissed just like that. And now we are going to look to, I think, get into another gun round. I think the economy of Waterloo is looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Ravens might have been playing catch-up, but definitely bringing some mustard with it at this point along. And we're seeing this. Don't credit me on that one. That one wasn't good. Don't.
I'm just at a loss for words. We're just going to move along here. Look at these cameras. Yeah, cameras.
Yeah, these cameras. And we're seeing like a Chinese Shrug is showing how good of an area denial player that they are. That has been so fundamental going forward, and we're seeing a C push coming on with both the 2 and 3 kind of sitting back at this point.
I'm not sure how it happened, but Moobs got really chunked out there, now healed up by the powers of Riv, but some early aggression in terms of utility. Meanwhile, Kip looking to jiggle out this window, sees it's all clear. They've rotated out. And that means there isn't the over-rotation by the defenders. They can hold fast. They can just rely on these cameras, on these information plays, and make sure that they're not over-rotating. Speaking of over-rotating, though, you do have 4 members going towards A, and they are likely looking to execute.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some fast dash coming in up against Chinese Shrug, who's the solo defender right now.
Got the cameras so we can at least get some vision outside despite being so smoked off here. Maybe call out a spam for a teammate or two. Now he's got someone up there in heaven with him firing out the arrows, but the attacker kills are just too clean. 2 openers already. Doesn't matter if the spike's down when you got numbers, or maybe it does because Kip and Prim are on a mission. Rubsky hidden away in that corner. It's a 1 versus 1, and time is a factor. Just 10 seconds. Needs to get the spike down. The spy cam dart is there. The removal, the spike plant attempt, and I don't think that there's going to be a peek, and there it is. Yes, the spike is planted. Chinese Shrug has his location. He knows exactly where Rubsky is, and he can keep peppering him with that dart. But can he actually get out of this window for the kill? That's the question, right?
Yeah, right now. Oh, that is... Yeah, that was just like, hey, you're given the opportunity. Do you take it? Or do you let it slip? And the only thing slipping right now is that that lead that was being created right now, 9-10. And things are looking mighty interesting going forward, because we've seen more of these sort of plants where it's just the 1v1s coming together, and it's showing that these two teams from the start of it, however the hype was going to be like, oh, this is going to be a fairly clean sweep. Not so.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, and I think that what's really interesting to see is, you know, Carleton has stuck to their plan of just slamming their head into sights, and it's working for them, right? Execute after execute, they're finding these round wins. So getting back into the game slowly but surely. Maybe we'll see an adaptation out of Toronto, but up to this point on the eco round, it's unlikely to make anything happen here. But with that being said, Vex popping the ultimate decides to put him away. Maybe he'll be able to pick up something with those knives, but I think you're looking for a miracle here.
That's a long sight line to be able to throw knives down when he got 2 to 3 now looking down it. Very dangerous peak that could come out of there. But manages to zip by just for a moment. Just seeing it, and the numbers slowly creeping through. Drone coming in on C. Really keeping an eye out of things.
Yeah, and good job by Prim to bait out the drones the drone's attention so that maybe they don't know that Vex has popped that ultimate already. On the other side, Moobs picks up one on light, but Chinese Shrug, the little cheeser with the shoddy, makes it happen. Moobs makes a return kill as a result, and now the smokes come down. It's a fast rotation to A.
Yeah, it was a little bit of backstreet dentistry going on right there with that shoddy kill. And we're seeing a major push onto A. We're seeing people drop by the second.
Moobs actually with the quad now on the round, maybe even going to get a cheeky little ace for himself, but not if Vex has anything to say for it. Unfortunately for him, he does not. 5 on the round for Moobs, showing why he was the superstar of map number 1. Slowly but surely been climbing the leaderboard. Was at the start of the match, I'm fairly sure, at the bottom of the board for his team, the Carleton Ravens, but now climbing to that second position. And look at this. 4 ultimates for Carleton, 1 at 7 out of 8, and on the side of Waterloo, they are lacking.
Yeah, definitely that. But you can force these out. You can force them to create, to try and create plays where there shouldn't be with proper positioning and whatnot. So, again, what is an advantage not used properly can quickly turn into problems.
Yeah, and speaking of getting a little interesting or making an adaptation, look at number 9 there. I think that is Vex, pushed up very far out of A main. Means he has so much information. Look at this, even clearing some more corners. Now this could get dangerous, but he does get it. Vex has managed to clean up that lurker in Danny, and that means they have this A site completely controlled. The side of Carleton has no information there, so they just fly in the sea, but there are waiting guns on the side of Waterloo.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, not all of them are firing straight, as now it's a 3 versus 2 light. Nearly caught in a bit of timing, but is able to get that arrow out.
1 enemy remaining.
And just down to 1 now. Jacklorf with all the stars, but oh, when they don't align and you're getting stunned, that's a bad scene for you.
Yeah, the last thing he saw was that starry night amongst the concussion and ringing ears, and it is a beautiful sight, but a more beautiful one would be the match win. Now, Waterloo just 2 rounds away from taking this game. It is another full buy from the 2 teams. And Vex, I just got to call it out while we have some time. An incredible play on the far side of that map, beating that Sova there in the 1 versus 1. in that lurk scenario, taking down Danny meant that Carleton was forced into the C site where there were so many defenders, meant it was such a free round for Waterloo.
Yeah, we haven't really been seeing so much lurk potential coming out of the Warriors, so that was a little bit of a pocket play that might have been like a personal call of confidence kind of coming out there, which is very good to see, and it paying out really fundamentally changed the complexion of that match.
And here's the attacker Killjoy, sort of between the A and B sites, undecided where they are looking to execute. But oh, it actually is destroyed. So now that ultimate nullified, both teams sort of know that each other are stacked up in this area. I wonder who's going to be the first to bite the bullet and rotate. And it's looking like it's going to be Kip and number 6 there on the minimap, sliding out of this A site while the attackers hold strong, looking to execute. And they don't have the information at this site anymore. They don't have the knowledge of that Cypher camera to spot out some of this attack. So they're charging forward, Vex trying to get out of dodge, but the ultimates are in. The bait is perfect for Light, though, just gets an effortless headshot. And now looking for more, gets another, tries for a third, but Riv is able to shut him down and now looks for the plant.
Yeah, and it was so important that Kip was the one who actually decided to rotate, because so many tools that he would have on hand to actually stop a push like that, to really blunt it, were just disappeared. You saw that they were able to rush in, not uncontested, obviously, but a lot easier than otherwise. And now we're seeing stack up between all 3 of them, trying to spread out and clean house, and they do!
Oh my goodness, the triple push just like that. They make it look so easy. Forget a long drawn out retake when you can just clean out the house, you know, tapping those heads like nobody's business. They have got to be hyped up on the side of Waterloo. They're now up to 12 match point here. And on the side of Carleton, your heart has to be broken from that last round. What can they do to get something here to keep themselves in this game?
Yeah, much on the same point, though. You know, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. So being able to have this match after how the last one went, you gotta also be calm, be aware what you're doing is working. It's not the time to utterly deviate to try and clean everything up. And we're seeing Ravens go and rush in and rush right back out. Don't want to be sitting around for when the defense comes in.
Yeah, Light popping that ultimate early as a result of that early plant the spike attempt. So now Moogs flies back in after the ultimate is burned, gets the spike down, has the ultimate available. So this Jet is a threat, but cleaned up by Vex. Too dang good on the other side. Now creeping into the site. They do have the spike controlled at this time, but they know the utility can come from the attackers. Like that, keep them off the bomb, being annoying, but the crossfire is just so effective. Look at this, the bodies are hitting the floor. It's just Danny in a 3 versus 1, and while the shock darts are a nice deterrent, they are just a nuisance at the end of the day. Or are they? One down, the spray through for another. Danny with the quad on the round, he would need the ace, but it is an opportunity for Vex to sneak it, and he does just that. Near heroics to keep Carleton in the match. But at the end of the day, Waterloo comes up big and takes us to map number 3.
Yeah, definitely. Waterloo coming through. And we're really seeing these sort of planned situations that they were consistently creating. More and more, they were allowing the offense to sort of come at them. Let the wave break upon them, as it were. And then being able to clean house. And that was like the early story for like their defenses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another part to highlight here is that Vex has got 27 kills on the final scoreboard, just completely gapping anyone else in this lobby. You know, 27, 18, and 4 on that Jet. A huge turnaround from map number 1, where I believe he was bottom scoring. I would need to check with our broadcast team for that to be 100% certain. But either way, an incredible turnaround from him. You love to see that mental resilience coming out of him.
Yeah, and especially like early on inside the season right now, having this sort of like back and forth from who's like already like being considered a very stacked team is kind of showing the competition that's going to be going forward. So something to keep in mind for those of you who haven't followed yet.
And speaking of things to keep in mind, something for you, the viewer, to keep in mind is that we have a third map. This is a 3-match series. Don't go anywhere, because the undefeated Carleton Ravens are looking to maybe be upset by the Waterloo Warriors in their first ever Valorant OPSE match. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and when we're back, we will see the decider of this series.
Mm-hmm. Hello again. Welcome back from that lovely break. I hope you guys got yourself something nice to drink and like maybe a hot pocket or two, gamer stuff, you know. And the pockets might be hot, but we're going to a cool map in Icebox for this third match.
Yeah, and Icebox, a map formerly known for weird shenanigans in the skybox, but now something with a little bit more consistency in terms of the gameplay. And I think something to highlight on this map that we need to talk about is how chaotic some of the sites can get. There's a lot of different angles, there's a lot of tight little hallways, and we saw in map number 1, despite the loss, that Waterloo really thrives in that chaos. So I'm hoping to see them continue that form here, but Carleton, we know, is just an absolute menace. One of the highest rated teams by players coming into this. So I think we're in for a banger here. Map number 3, Carleton being pushed in Waterloo, wanting to prove what they're made of.
Yeah, seeing some very interesting picks coming out here. Namely, we're seeing the Vex. No, not Vex. We're seeing
Viper.
Viper. Yeah, no, not Viper. The soul stealing lady.
Oh yeah, Reyna. So
Reyna. I'm sorry, that name looked too normal among all the gamer tags. Reyna, a very offensive heavy, get your kills and keep on snowballing type of character inside of this type of a match. Seems like it's a all chips on the table sort of strategy coming in here, which I found kind of daunting at the very least, but it could be a sign of high amount of confidence coming in.
Yeah, and I think it is worth noting that the kit does work really well in that A site. I think it's unlikely that Reyna is going to be anywhere but A on the offensive side here, because the reposition that comes when getting those kills, the healing and the fast movement speed is so strong. And speaking of so strong, that is Moobs coming in with a clean little sheriff headshot onto Prim, knocking him off his high horse so early. Now Riv flying towards this B site as the defenders look to rotate, but this spike is almost certainly to go down. 4 versus 5 retake scenario. This is not looking good, but it is still a possibility for the defense.
Yeah, you're seeing the Viper walls creating a little bit of a kind of pseudo arena, making it very difficult for both of them to engage each other with any sort of clean sight lines, and so that's where you're seeing such a tentative play. But here we go, we're moving in.
Yeah, and there's the headshot from Moves onto Kip, the superstar player on the side of Waterloo last one. Chinese Shrug, though, showing that he is still in the conversation there. On a supportive pick, doesn't matter, getting headshots, but Danny doesn't need to hit a headshot. He can just right-click with the shorty and get himself a double for his troubles.
Yeah, what was most critical out of that was Reyna not being able to get the free armor off of the overheal from that pistol round. So no free eco for you, but Chinese Shrug right there looking up 3 towards the ultimate, and Moobs sitting 3 towards the ultimate all the same. So those are looking to come online fairly certain. Now we're seeing a little bit of the level getting divided by the 2 Viper walls happening right here. Reyna being completely out in the open from the quick push to A, and we're just going to see defenders have to go a long way only to see a lot of green in their face.
Yeah, and here we go. This is an all-out aggression onto the A site. The defenders are only on pistols, but it doesn't seem to matter. Vex with a clean little headshot to open things up. But here are those SMGs at work. Rubsky gets a double, a triple now for his troubles, and Kip is looking to right-click, but it don't matter. The quad feed comes in, and just for our viewers, I don't think we mentioned it yet, it is Waterloo on defense, and it is Carleton on offense here. So Carleton really coming out swinging in map number 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're definitely seeing that, and that was all down to wall placement. That really created such a difficult time to actually support your single A side defender Reyna. That was going on there, though the defense was good. Did get 1 tap on there, wasn't able to kind of come through. So you're seeing the double defense go out there, a lot more aggressive, moving forward a lot faster, and sort of more open regarding that. But everything going in, just loggerheading it right through for the attack.
Yeah, once again, just throwing their heads at the wall is Carleton, and it is doing well for them. So can you blame them? Light at least getting a trade kill, but here is Carleton on the retreat. They got their 1-for-1, and now they are trying to bait out the rotation. But there is a pause. Do they walk back? Yes, they do. They creep forward. Now the question is, how quickly does Waterloo catch on to this? Chinese Shrug still in the sight. Sees that there is that toxic wall and maybe going to relay that to the team, as now Sova arrows come in. Jacklorb able to clear the dart, but no, location revealed, and that means that the defenders are on the rotation. Rubski's on the plant. Can they make this happen? A 4 versus 4 retake for Waterloo.
Yeah, and we're definitely seeing the offense coming in. There's the first drop on the point, going back and forth, trades all the way along, and now it's just 2v2.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, and just like that, the defender's cleaning house. And look at this, it's a triple for Light. He makes it happen. So essential in this game. What I gotta love about these Waterloo Warriors is that everyone on this team is showing up in a big way. In game number 2, we saw that it was Vex with that 27 bomb to bring home the win. Now here, Light with the triple to secure Waterloo's first round. That is a confidence booster, bringing up the energy of your teammates, exploding forward with that momentum, looking to shut down Carleton.
Yeah, and what we saw coming out of Carleton was a slight change of the sort of bash their head into this sort of defense strategy that was coming in, where it was a bait out of that. It was saying, yeah, we've shown you that we're gonna do something different, and it worked. They got the defenders all to go to B, except for one. And if it wasn't for that heroic moment from Light there, being able to sort of keep the defense going and get the defuse, that would have totally functioned. So the strategy was there. It's just the taps were not.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that the strategy is there in this moment. If you're Carleton, right, you can't get too shaken when things don't go wrong. You can't give up on smart plays when, you know, the headshots are just not there. Speaking of, Vex getting 1 as the attackers posture towards B. The walls are down. There are, however, a lot of defenders here. This is a very awkward push. Granted, the defenders don't have some of the greatest weaponry. Prim with the shotgun looking to just spam through the wall. Not actually connecting. Oh, there it is at the very end. Cleans up Jacklorb, who is on that Sage. That is a very sad agent to lose this early because of the lack of healing now. Light looking to peek out. Kip already picking up 1 there onto Danny. Rubski fires through that wall and is able to get 1, but Light and Kip finish up the last 2 of Carleton's Ravens, and just like that, a second round for Waterloo, holding themselves in this game despite some weak economic purchases. You know, they had that shotgun, they didn't have their full rifle setup, and now as a result in this next round they are sitting pretty.
2-2 going on right here. 3 ults available for defense. That's got to be something that you got to be very much worried about, especially with the capacity to have all the wall bangs and the knives out. A lot of offensive capacity that can come through there, and Reyna being able to go full beast mode for a while can turn everything sideways really quick.
Speaking of full beast mode, it was a force buy out of the side of the Ravens, 5 SMGs, and it's because they want to fly into A. Moves there, 2 great openers now revealed by the bolt. The utility is going to slow down the attackers, but only for a moment. Here is Light coming with the ultimate, but Riv is collecting heads. Now, Jacklorb defending his teammates, getting that spike down and throwing down the wall. Just 2 defenders left. I have to question if they even go for this play, and no, they are already rotating out. Although, with that kill onto Danny, do they try to commit back? I think Chinese Shrug either has the ultimate or is very close to it. So there is a world where they could look to revive and go for a play. But so far, they are just rotating out, and there is Prim and Chinese Shrug just saving the rifles, looking to weather the storm and bring these out into the next round.
Yeah, very much that, and we're seeing the again. It's the minor oh, get some tags at the end of it, but it's the minor adaptation of the Ravens strategy that like it hasn't entirely been throwing it out. It's been going in, forcing some aggression, trying to see what they can get, and forcing the Warriors, which we've seen be fairly good at adaptation, to do that. They're stress testing. How well can you adapt? What can you do?
Yeah, and I think seeing if the Warriors can just keep up in terms of gun skill, right? When you have 5 players flying into that A site with these congested sort of pushes, you know, it does come down to who is hitting their shots in these chaotic fights. So I think Carleton may be looking to play into the gun skill there. But now we're seeing Waterloo stack up a lot more defenders here, and it is showing a 1-for-1 so far. Light getting that wall bang. Really nice to see. The grenade not quite landing, but Jacklor commits the revive. This means that Carleton is going all in on this one.
Yeah, definitely seeing that, trying to take the high ground and being successful in that. Definitely getting that upper echelon striking, and we're seeing the numbers go in their favor.
Yeah, nice little kill there by the Sage, opening things up. He's got the revives, he's got the kills. You know, what can he not do? Jacklor really showing his stuff in this round, but the defenders are not yet out of it. Kist and Light getting 2. Light with the 3rd. This man is on fire. A 4th even with the spray control. Prim finally cleaning up, denying the ace, but Light, if he's not screaming in his comms, I don't know what to say at that point, because he is on fire here. Another huge multi-kill at this A site. That is going to shake Carleton's confidence. You know, you're playing to the gun skill. You're playing to win in these chaotic fights, but every single time Light comes up clutch.
Yeah, no, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face, and like that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing Light making omelets out of rocks. He takes nothing, makes it something, and it's continually so impressive to see out of this, where you'd be expecting. I don't really know if Sovu, with like the entire, like with the kit that he has, is going to be this this one-shotting monster. Not necessarily the expectation, but hey, we're seeing it.
Yeah, and he's keeping the trend going, dropping moves. One of those star performers for Carleton so early into this round. The attackers are all stacked up here. They have the spike. They want to commit, but with 1 down, they feel so awkward to. Now Kip here with his operator. Oh, and he's cleaning house. There's 1 onto Rubsky. No more of that Viper utility in this round. Danny is at least able to trade back onto Prim, but the attackers still have a long way to go. Kip, I
gotta watch
thought that was a hit.
Gotta watch that lurk. 5 coming in behind.
Spike planted.
Yeah, there he is on the lurk, but who cares about lurking when you have Light in the sight? This man has been lights out in a 4 versus 2, but Jacklor evens it up. Oh, and he gets another. How has Vex whiffed that shot? But the attackers are so low, both of them on under 20 health, and it shows here as the spam comes through. It's another round win for Waterloo, but getting pretty dangerous there.
Yeah, definitely. The numbers are closing, but hey, like the numbers on the in the play, if they don't reflect the numbers on the scoreboard, it don't matter. You take those. You take those.
Absolutely, right? And getting 2 people out of that round means that they actually can drop some weaponry here as a result. Now, granted, there might not quite be... Actually, no, I think they'll have the full utility as a result. Meanwhile, on the attacking side, they were able to scrounge together 5 rifles and full armor, so they at least have that going for them, looking to maybe have a change of pace and go towards this B site. I think if this round doesn't work out here for Carleton, I would love to see them call a timeout, because just chain losing these rounds off of heroics from Waterloo is a huge confidence killer, but maybe that kill is going to get that confidence back. Moves opening onto Vex.
Yeah, notably seeing those that double forward post towards B, trying to get something going, but I think the early, like the pre-fire, kind of made him wise to that. Moving forward now, switching everything over to A, seeing a little bit of meeting in the middle between the 2 Vipers, and inside the green, we're seeing only 1 leave, and we're seeing only 2 on the board for the defense.
Yeah, and we've seen Waterloo save in these scenarios before where it's a guaranteed site take from Carleton, spike down sort of scenario. They did very well in that save, actually. I think it was Chinese Shrug and one other I'm blanking on right now, but they got 2 exit kills onto the Ravens, really weakening that economy on their side. So I would like to see them continue that play. I thought it was smart then. I think it's smart now to save these weapons. You can see what someone like Light does when he's enabled in that A site. So why not give him a rifle?
Well, we're not seeing the safety coming out from that last time, but like last time they saved. Oh, well, we're seeing what he can actually do. We're seeing what he can do.
If he got that triple, I think Carleton's mental is just completely kaboom. Like, they are just seeing the light of the heavens at that point, because you are done and dusted, dead to this world. Light 12-4. The next closest person in terms of kills in this game is Moobs at 8. Just shows the clinic this guy's putting on. Has his ultimate ready this round. Really, maybe gonna show his stuff.
Well, it's home field advantage for Sovu. He's just feeling at home is what it is, with all the ice and snow and whatnot. I think that's the real play that's happening here.
Yeah, it's peak comfort at play, and maybe looking to shake up that comfortability is Carleton. Once again, looking to get some space in this A site, but so far those plays have not gone well for them. Vex, at least able to find his way out.
Yeah, and a lot of this sort of like offense that we saw early on really working for Carleton was, I feel, due to the Viper wall assisting in that, and we're seeing people drop right now, not into the favor. Light's still on the table with his 2 other allies, and these are the definite swing players for the Warriors.
Yeah, Light picking up 2 there with his ultimate, getting those wall bangs to perfection, but the quick rotation and a nice pickup on the other side, plus the revive coming in, means that this is still a competitive round for Carleton. It's more than competitive. They are in this. Light getting a triple, once again trying to put his team on his back. 1v5. Light might not have weight, but he is carrying, looking for another on moves, but the bait and switch is there. Jacklor peeks wide, but not able to connect now. Light need the ace, and with the spike so far ticked, I think his only hope is an exit kill, and he's not able to deliver. Moves showing his own stuff, a quad kill, flashing him on the play.
Yeah, Moobs is no slouch, as we've seen before, picking up a lot of kills coming up there and creeping up inside the KDA. But right now, you have to admit, for aggressing into the Viper ult, for like the defense for like the Warriors, how capable they were to actually come out of that, like, even, is a statement in itself.
Yeah, and as far as I know, it was just Light's ultimate that was burned there on the defensive side. Meanwhile, you had the revive from Jacklor committed, you had that Viper ultimate come down, so lots of pieces being used in this round. Speaking of pieces being used, Kip is going to open up with 1 on those knives, but Riv quickly returns in succession. But looks like the A site is all but guaranteed. The spike going down, a 3 versus 4 retake scenario. Make it a 3 versus 3. Light is, come on, man.
I don't even
save some for your team.
That was wild. But like, yeah, that was even Carleton Ravens pushing through the opposing Viper ult all the same, and we're seeing this headstrong aggression kind of like we thought paying off for them, but here comes the Warriors losing clean, and
Danny
1v2
stay alive. Vex finally able to close it out.
The Warriors doing warrior things.
Oh no, this has been such a chaotic round. Does he just fully stick it?
That's the
ice
defuse.
in his veins.
That's the defuse. Oh no! Fractions of a second off.
Oh, good read by Rubsky. Just had the clock in his head, so perfectly timed, but really a lot of sweat on the backs of Carleton there. Now, granted, it is a huge loss for Waterloo. They committed Chinese Shrug's revive, and we committed a lot of ultimates on the play. Vex able to get a couple pieces there, but this Reyna pick not really panning out in the way that we were hoping for. You know, that aggressive duelist is sitting at the bottom of his team's board with just 4 kills on the half. So really hoping Reyna can heat up here at this A site. You know, that is the specialty area for him. So would love to see some highlight reel moments, but A is off the table for now as there's a bit of a split coming out of Carleton. The spike is towards A, so maybe that's where they intend to end. But for now, Kip is going to be taking operator pot shots at these 3 Carleton players at B.
Yeah, we're actually seeing, instead of going for A, we're now seeing this Vex with the Reyna coming through and getting taken. Because it feels like, knowing the Reyna pick, knowing that there's going to be this single defender at A, the Ravens have opted to just flood it. Just be like, how many people can you kill? Not all of us. And essentially snuff out the great strength of that operator, that agent, that champion.
Spike down A.
Absolutely. Some other Riot game enthusiasts would have to agree with you there. But what I'd have to agree with is these kills coming in from Waterloo. It was looking so dire, but just like that, it's been turned around. Prim trying to get the pre-fire, but just not perfectly lined up means it is now a 1 versus 3. Make it a 1v2 for Kip, but immediately before we can even finish the sentence of maybe there is a chance or a sliver of hope, is shut down, and that means that it is 7-4 before this last round of the half. The buy on the side of Waterloo is nothing short of whack with some of those SMGs and bullfrogs coming out, but maybe, just maybe, they can get a 5th.
Yeah, that would be that'd be big going into the flip of things, and it'll be interesting to see how this, because it's obvious that the Warriors came in with the plan, with the Reyna on the A, and like how to actually make everything kind of go through, how that would flip, because it feels like they've had a confident defense that has relied on the picks, and we're seeing the ults get popped right here, making certain that that's no easy walk in, and okay, we're seeing the movements happen. We're seeing them souls getting stolen.
Yeah, Vex getting 1 there. Would love to maybe find a second, but not opting for the aggression. Instead, it's Shiny Shrug shredding on that site. Riv and Danny respond in time, but Vex finally heating up in this half, has got 2 on the round. Would need 2 more to win it for his team. Aggressing here onto the attacker side, trying to sniff them out as they slowly lurk. They slowly set up the pinch, and there is the blind to get some information. Just as I say that, the bolt comes out. Oh! Is in, and Rubsky will ensure that Carleton gets 8.
Definitely, and coming out of that round with that sort of momentum is going to be very interesting. It's a hill to climb for the Warriors coming out of here, and what seemed like a strategy built on making that defense count as much as they could, which, not to say that they didn't. They got they pushed as much as they got pulled, but when it comes down to it, Ravens with the lead coming through, and now being on defense with the addition of the variety of explosives on their side, feels like, well, we're gonna have to see how the difference between the Rhea and the, I believe, Raze. The Rhea to the Raze difference is going to kind of play out this time around.
Yeah, they're different takes on this A-side defense. Lots of chokes for those Raze grenades versus the resets on Rhea, but there is some early aggression out of Waterloo. They sniff out the defenders, force a heavy rotation before deciding, nah, we don't want that. Vex looking to get a little cheeky there, does some damage onto moves. So that is maybe a small gain in their favor. Reyna has the potential to heal it up. On the other side, though, Rubsky, this anchor on B, hoping to make something happen, hoping to deny and allow some time for teammates to rotate. But at this point, I think the spike plant is all but inevitable. Yet, as I say that, Chinese Shrug.
Hard to get on. It's like from the positioning of both of these walls and having the Warriors Viper kind of lurking around there, and all the push over. We're seeing going back over to A, saying like just checking out your options. You don't settle on the first house, like on the first car that you go to. You need to shop around a bit.
Yeah, and shop around they will. The question is, how hard are they going to beat them on this rotation? Getting some cheeky little jump peeks from Light, trying to get any sort of info. Has spotted out Riv. who is lurking with this Ghost. Such a lethal weapon in this pistol round as Vex responds with a Ghost of his own. Moves on the other side has got that Sheriff. The kills are lighting up all across the board. Just like that, though, the attackers have won. Vex with a triple in this round. Maybe the Reyna wasn't for defense after all. Maybe they are a menace on the A offense as they find a triple in the round. They find the opener for Waterloo, and they find the start of what could be a comeback.
It's so important who actually got the like the spread of kills over on the Warriors side. 3 for Vex, 3 for Chinese Shrug. That's your big swing player. That is also your res that's coming ever closer. And the kills were more spread out across the Ravens side. So it's going to take a little bit of a longer time to actually get those ults online.
Yeah, and now we're seeing a pretty big stack from the Ravens at this A site, and it's paying off. Vex caught all over the place, crosshair swinging, but not able to connect for a reset. It also means Kip has to go flying out. Why does he not have an SMG in this round? It's an anti-eco. That is the freest kill of your life, but instead has this revolver, the Sheriff, not resulting in any kills. But once again, it's a repeat of the last round. The late rotation comes in, and the B site is all but secured. There is this lone Rubsky here looking to maybe cause foul, but without any charges of the utility. It means the spike goes down. A 4 versus 5, but the superior weaponry means the defenders are likely in the advantage.
If you are late, you must rotate. And we're seeing that consistently come through with the Ravens basically putting the Warriors through their paces in terms of calisthenics at this point. We're seeing the kills starting to hit the board.
Yeah, and once again, Waterloo chiming in on the feed. Prim here with this SMG, but Moobs has found a cheeky flank, so maybe there is an opportunity because Riv is getting aggressive. Do they know? The right click is there, but it does not connect, and just like that, when you thought there was some hope, it turns out no, there was not.
Yeah, that was just, you know, we're kind of getting into the flow of things, and Chinese Shrug starting to get a lot of kills on the table. In terms of actually nearly got the ultimate on something important to have, but right now, again, over for the defensive Ravens, they're very much spread out with there. We see the op actually coming down on Moobs that we've seen has a critical capacity for tapping people, and maybe getting those knives on hand to actually increase their eco might be in the cards after some good taps. But we're seeing a little bit of aggression on B, those double Viper walls causing a little bit of annoyance.
Yeah, just trading utility back and forth here. I imagine Carleton has got to be a little scared of the rotation because look at number 5. Look at number 5. Oh, Moves is able to pick that up. And this is a glass cannon operator. So vulnerable with this weapon, you know, has the boomstick, can get the one tap, but at the same time is very vulnerable.
Yeah, and that's definitely a sign of, like, you know, confidence. Giving Moob, who's been like consistently on the kill feed, being like, yeah, no, you're gonna go for this when all you have between you and death as a dash is definitely something there. But now having 3 over on B and Moob's actually having to move over, might actually go into the center to actually try and get some flank going on, but Opt's not going the long way.
Yeah, the spike is ticking, but these defensive players are being healed up. Rubsky giving the bomb a little tap, making sure that the attackers have to check. They have to respect that tap. And the arrow comes through, but it's just not enough. Riv shots are really clean here. So that means it is going to be another round for the Ravens here. They're up to 9. They are approaching double digits, and no doubt they are getting a little nervous on the side of Waterloo. Now, granted, it was a bonus round. You know, they had the inferior weaponry just accumulated from their first 2 round wins, so not a huge economic loss. This, I think, is going to be the round that really can seal the fate of one of these teams. So I think this is where the chips are on the table. We're going to see a lot of ultimates burned and maybe a very aggressive A take. We did see that Reyna pop off in round 1 here.
Yeah, that's what we're definitely looking at. Having the 2 Viper walls set up towards B and having the Viper standoff as is usual. What we're seeing a tentative movement going through, but oh, moves. You can't get past them.
Oh, and Reyna thought she was being sneaky, but just a godly jump peek by moves. Actually getting another. The revive has been committed, though, onto that Reyna, but look at this flank from Jacklorb. Oh, no. The timing. Can he get it? Yes, there's one onto Prim, and just like that, the attackers are boxed in. They are locked up here. They have to fight their way out, and Light is trying to do just that. This has been the superstar for Waterloo. This map so far has opened up with one in the round so far, and he would need many more. Look at this precarious situation they're in. They are so stuck.
Yeah, stuck, but patient. They're keeping their sight lines good. They're keeping everything kind of clean. They know where at least two of them are, and now we're seeing them taking the opportunity to back out, but they don't know what the rest of the map has to fare for them. So it's going to be flying blind for a little bit.
Yeah, Jacklorb getting some really good chip damage there onto the attackers. That Sage is sitting rough now onto red levels of health. Chinese Shrug looking for the plant. This is a man that was weakened earlier, and he is dropped now. Moves also with the triple on that operator. Vex alone in a 1 versus 4. And now, wait a minute. Number 5 snuck through.
Oh, we're moving. Oh, I believe.
I really believe there was almost no time on the clock, but the comeback was definitely looking tangible. It was looking palpable there. The Reyna resets can be really devastating, but just shut down so early by moves there. That operator coming in a massive way, right? Shutting down the Reyna, forcing the revive so early out of Chinese Shrug, still shutting down the attackers again afterwards with pick after pick. Means that Carleton sitting comfortable at 2 digits now. 10 rounds for themselves, just a few more for the win. The economy on the side of Waterloo is lacking.
Definitely, and this has really been coming down to, like, Moobs has been coming into his own. After being the top killer for the last map for his team, now coming into his own and being a major game changer is super important after everything that Light did the first time around. We're now seeing this sort of competition like really sort of play out, and the first kill being made.
Yeah, Vex getting an opener. Danny responding with some shock darts onto the planter. Now Kip floating up with those knives, seeing if he can make anything happen, but Rubsky just playing foul here, being so obnoxious. Combined with Danny in this corner, it is a cheeky defensive crossfire. Makes it so hard for the attackers to aggress, but that is what they're trying to do as moves. Looks to reposition. Prim now dropped. The dart is finding more foes. The attackers are feeling helpless here. The spike is down and in an awkward position to pick up. Rubsky is getting more kills and more kills and more kills. Triple on the round now. Just Vex all alone, and he is dropped to the operator. It feels like the spirit of Waterloo has been crushed. These last couple of rounds have looked really uninspired.
Yeah, and that was like such an interesting defense, because that was 3 people down with Riv looking to do a very sort of like slow lurk to actually get that flank, but was entirely unneeded. Was like just sitting at attacker side spawn, just keeping an eye on things, seeing if it was needed, but nothing more was required. So that's gonna be very critical to kind of move forward with. That they were able to. Oh well, there goes their op.
Yeah, seriously, Kip with a lightning fast headshot there, shutting down one of those star players of Carleton in moves. That is a great opener to have. And it means that as a result, Carleton has to respect them here. They have to rotate some more members over to B, but you can see the spike for Waterloo is going to A. There is just one defender here, and it is number 7. It is the toxic powers of Viper, which means that they can slow down the attackers, right? They can make sure that it's not an all-out aggression. You know, that utility really enables those rotations to come in, but I think that this is quite a precarious situation. Look at how close they've crept to each other. Yeah. Being the first one to make noise with those shots.
Yeah, and right now, that green piece bubble that's coming in, just sitting pretty inside of that, making a home and making it very difficult, allowing the defenders to kind of rotate back. and forcing out the attack to go to the other side, saying this goop, not worth
30
it.
seconds
Don't
left.
want to deal with it. Having to then walk into the sight lines of light over on the other side. But he's already used his drone, so not able to actually get much visuals.
Yeah, and Danny here trying to play spoiler, but Light spamming him out with that ultimate means, you know, there's just nowhere to go. You have to go into the open where there's an operator trained on you, or you have the sniper or the bow shots coming in. Makes it so tough. But Rovsky has found one in return. Still a 4 versus 2, so I will not quite yet hold my breath. But you've seen the kind of things Rovsky and Riv can do, but so can Vex. Trades all around, but in the end, it is Kip on a legendary lurk there. I'm pretty sure he got 2 on the lurk before there was even a commitment to sights. What a play there out of Kip. Finally, Light has some backup in this match.
And we're seeing right now a lot of ults being put down on defense there. With the 11 up and seeing this, trying to really close things out, this is going to be incredibly important. They got the knives, they have the res, they have the bazooka, and only 2 away for Danny to actually be able to have the wall bangs too. It's going to be a difficult defense to actually walk into, and the strong A side coverage that's coming out kind of looks to be pushing towards that, being like, hey, if you want to run into this wall of ults, more power to you.
Yeah, and they have this blast cannon operator once again, but it doesn't matter when people like Vex and Kip are getting openers, but they are traded back quickly. Now, Chinese Shrug lurking above, avoiding the spam so far, gets a glimpse of Jacklord, but not able to connect. It's a 3 versus 3 in this site. All these players committed towards A. It is an absolute fiesta here on the A site with the spike going down. A 3 versus 3 could seal the fate of the coming rounds. This would break economy, so the res is committed. The kills come in for the defense, and just like that, a 2 versus 4. This is so tough. Can they close it out? Prim and Light. Light has been the light of this team. Can he hold Waterloo in this?
Oh, and there we go. The numbers are evening out even more.
Oh no! Oh
we're down
no!
to like a single point of HP and a dream, and the dream taken out. That 11 doesn't go up. We're continuing through.
This dream is a nightmare. I was hyping up Light. What was I doing? It was Prim at the bottom of the board. Before that round, had 4 kills to his name. A triple, though, at the crucial time means that Waterloo is still in this match. You saw how many ultimates were committed on the side of Carleton. The Revive, the Jet Knives, so many of those tools. The Bazooka even, I think, came out as well.
Saw the Bazooka come out. Didn't know where it landed, though.
Nowhere is where it landed. That Reyna resetting all over the dang place, showing that she is the queen of the A site. But now Riv trying to get revenge, pushing forward here, getting a little cheeky on the defensive side. There is some lurkers on attack to try and catch it, but will they win the fights?
Yeah, the offensive-defensive beat is fairly notable. This is a team that's feeling themselves. They're like, yeah, we're moving, we're making some stuff happen right here.
Yeah,
and now they're only feeling bullets in their head. Whew.
Jeez, that was a nice little bait and switch there. The drop off the top as the blind comes through, the peek down low. They're firing on all cylinders in the Waterloo camp, you know. I thought that maybe they were uninspired. Forget it. I'm the one that's uninspired right now. Look at these plays coming out of Waterloo.
Yeah, and now definitely have full control over B. You got sight lines for your sight lines. You got coverage. Oh, but all you're going to be covering right now is... I'm not even going to go for that punch. Just take it away from me, please.
It's covering the corpse there, as all that is left of the defending side is corpses. The attackers clean house. Now up to 9 rounds for themselves. Still searching for the double digits, but in a decent position to do so. Now, granted, defense, a lot of guns in their hand. That ain't a glass cannon operator anymore. He has got full-on armor, with the head included. On the other side, it is 5 rifles and a stack towards A site initially with the spike, but we know that Waterloo loves to play the map, right? They've been gaming Carleton all over the place, forcing rotations left and right. So maybe going to put some more of that cheeky play into action as Vex goes very fast into A site, gets an opener onto moves. Forget the glass cannon operator. Doesn't matter if you have armor when it's a one-tap headshot from that Vandal. Such a crucial opener there. The operator down, but Kip was spotted on the exit by Riv, so that does mean the defenders could have a good rotation. However, both teams instead opting to stack at A, although look at that lone number 7 just lurking at B.
And you saw the actual, like, the shift that happened after getting that kill, considering, should we push on to A? They're down 1. And then opting instead, we're going to go to B. They're definitely going to push more onto that, but let's see how the defensive Viper can actually play out. And there's the first kill, and then jumping back, staying nice and limber, but now hoping that Ringo Mortis doesn't cause an issue with that.
Yeah, that was a great little peek there, taking advantage of a lapse in timing or confidence or whatever you want to call it from the attackers. Just gets a cheeky kill and gets out. Doesn't look like it's going to mean much in the grand scheme. The revive was committed out of Chinese Shrug, so that is a big cooldown down. Definitely a bit of a bummer to lose that when you maybe could have secured it without, but either way, you're just happy to hit double digits here as Waterloo, they are making this a competitive game. What people thought was the favorites in Carleton was going to be another effortless win out of them is coming down to the wire.
Absolutely, making them work for every inch, and we saw Sovu make some dreams happen, but not that time around. Where, and like, if you saw through the feed how all the attackers were staggered between the walls and also the Jade wall that was created there, it was just prime for flanks that was coming through. And what we're seeing right now is another one of those A pushes, and we've consistently seen the 9 and 6 player from defense starting to go down the central hall to try and create this sort of pick. Doing it a little bit quicker this time. We're going to be running into attacking Viper, but people are getting cleaned up on A.
Yeah, and without excellent weaponry, you know, it was just the upgrade pistols and basic armor on the defensive side. This round is an inevitability. The stack is there, the rifles are strong, and the aim is on point. Crispy headshots all around means that it is an 11th for Waterloo. The flawless round to tie the game, and Carleton now, you are on the back burner. You had to save. You have the rifles here. This is your time. You have lost 5 rounds in a row. I need to see a regain. I need to see a timeout, damn it!
Yeah, a timeout here would be, well, yeah, you know, this is the time. If ever there's a time, you're seeing the leads slip away from what seems to be like just solid reads of what's happening on the defensive side, where it's constantly going in, peeking in, seeing if they can get a kill, fading back, going to B, setting up. It's been a very consistent play that's coming out, where it's just like the small leads are allowed to be made into bigger and bigger ones.
Absolutely, and now a fast take towards this B site. Will it mean a spike plant as a result? Jackler caught reloading as the spike finishes, and there, able to get the spam kill onto that planter in Chinese Shrug, but as a result, the spike is down. Time is now an enemy for the defense. Oh, and Vex with an absolutely nutty shot there onto Danny. I can't believe he landed that. What a monster. Now, the defense has to make a big play.
Did you see the flight that was coming out of Riv there? Just decided to switch on the aggro, but nothing to it afterwards.
Yeah, the satchel comes flying in, the carrot on a stick. The big bad distraction ends up being nothing more than a slight consolation prize there, only getting 1 with the rocket, and in return, the whole team drop in. Now there is a match point for Waterloo. This never-ending round loss spree coming in. I think it is now 6 or 7 in a row Carleton has lost, and I think their hearts are not going to be in this game, but boy do I hope they are, because their match life is sitting here. Their economy, whack. They have some basic upgrades, but definitely not as much as you'd hope for. So now, knowing this, looking to take the longer angles, Waterloo flies towards B.
Very important that Danny was able to actually go all the way to the other side, setting up a very strong defensive angle, despite the wall causing a little bit of disturbance there, and we're seeing the first kills drop, and we're seeing, the lurk that was coming in from behind gets snuffed out like it was nothing, and now it's just straight on combat.
Yeah, ultimates being burned across the board. They're trying to close this out here. Rubsky getting one, looking for more, trying to aggress forward, but it is so tough to push out these attackers. Prim getting free on the round. Danny returning onto Vex, and just like that, it's a 2 versus 1. But time is a factor. Health is a factor. Danny, can he make it happen? Trying to be a hero, but Light will close it out. A 2-1 victory for Waterloo Warriors in their first match of the OPSE Valorant season. What a statement game from them.
Yeah, that's definitely saying, it's like, hey, don't overlook us. It was an incredible sort of play that was going through all the way from the start, where we saw this, like, the Ravens making good on the promises that were stated. This sort of stacked team that's going to be super powerful, and it was up to the Warriors to bring it back, to say, hey, we're here, and stand their ground and make some stuff happen. And they, down to the wire of that last game, brought it there. This might be the start of an amazing rivalry going forward inside the season. And as we can see, Light and moves all the way up the top, but finaling out the Kip hitting the top rankings right there.
Yeah, and I think that this first match of the season means that all eyes are on Waterloo. And speaking of Waterloo, joining us for an interview here is one of those top performers in game number 3, the most kills of match number 3. Light is joining us. Light, how do you feel after that crazy series?
Feeling amazing. Very
I
proud
believe it.
Yeah, no, like, us over here, like, the amount of times that we've been like, oh, it's like, just sort of push that's happening. They're like, pop, 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 and just making liars out of us. Fantastic. Loved to see it.
So Light, then, off of this, obviously it's your first match of the season as Waterloo, bit of a statement game here, and no doubt all eyes are on you now, taking down this heavy hitter of Carleton. What do you have to say to some of the other OPSE Valorant teams out there?
I just think we're ready to beat them all. I honestly think Carleton was like our hardest competitor, and then we just beat them today, so I have full confidence that we can destroy everyone else.
Yeah, and like, you definitely went toe to toe with them, even after that first match kind of seemed a little topsy turvy. What happened during the timeout that happened? How did you kind of like rally all together and push forward to get this win?
On the first map?
I mean, like, on the timeout that you took.
Oh yeah, on the timeout we just need to calm down and Kip called some strats, so we need more mid control, and then we just started like working together more because we were kind of freaking out a bit.
Fair play. It's hard to regain that sense of control when the guns come out so hot there. Talk to us a little bit about this veto then. Obviously, nerfs and the hot guns coming into play in map number 1. How about in Icebox and Haven? What was going on in those maps in terms of the veto, or did you have confidence coming into map number 2 and 3?
Yeah, Haven and Icebox we scrimmed a lot more, so I had more confidence in our strats. Like Kip, we had Kip on Breach, which was pretty good, and then him on Jet 2, he did a lot of picks, and then our lurking was much better. I just think our Ascent, we haven't scrimmed that much, that's why we lost that map.
Yeah, and we've been seeing the Ravens opt to put a lot of full-on aggression towards your defense. How did you kind of like adapt to that going forward?
Yeah, so like on ecos, we know they like to push, so we just held back a lot, and then like we started defaulting more instead of just hard pushing to counter that out. Yeah.
Well, last question before we let you go to celebrate this victory. Looking forward, you've mentioned that Carleton is your main competition. What are your goals for this team? Do you see yourself winning the whole season, forming together as a squad post-university, and taking on the world? What is the ceiling here?
Yeah, for sure. I think we can easily beat everyone else. We'll be number 1.
Well, you heard it here, folks. First Light, the man on a mission, 26 in map number 3, ice in his veins on the ice box. Thank you for joining us in this explosive 3-map series. You have been watching OPSE's Valorant, but don't go anywhere because we have a whole other series to go, and I'm sure it's going to be just as much of a banger as this one. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more Valorant action.
Stay good.